Hi, I'm Seamless. Today is Saturday, which means it's time for a weekly live stream, and I'm actually going to do it this time, as opposed to dying or being busy or any of that. Anyway, people are saying weird stuff. We were just talking about the EP. That's what we were just doing. It was pretty cool. I'm going to bring this back down here. And when we last left our track, we had the first drop done, a little intermediary bit, and then I started on the second drop, which got a little weird. I liked how weird it was, but today we'll work more on the weirdness. So to begin, I'll play through the track so far, and we'll continue. It's kind of loud, so you're aware of that. I'm going to be playing in 3, 2, 1. Okay. Somebody actually just asked a question in the chat that was sort of totally unrelated to what was happening, but it said, when I started music, did I ever feel like I was quitting or did I ever lose motivation? And what's kind of interesting is that when people ask me how long I've been producing, I usually say 10 years. We're coming up on 11 years now. And it's true. That's when I started making music in the beginning of 2004. And like maybe 2004? I forget where. It was 2004 at some point. But the thing about it though is that I didn't have like professional aspirations for music until like super recently. Like me for music, it was just dicking around and doing stuff. Like I posted some music on some forums and had some fun times with people. At no point did I think that I could do anything musically professionally, tutorials or soundtrack stuff, or even or especially regular actual music production, like for myself professionally. That's not the thing that entered my mind until pretty much I was already doing it. Like it sort of evolved very slowly until it just happened that it's what I was doing with my life. So I didn't really have a problem with motivation because it wasn't like I'm gonna be the best when I was just 1 year producer. Like that wasn't a thing that happened. So that's sort of my answer to that question. Okay. So I also I didn't like talk about this when I made this sound the first time, but I want to point out a particular kind of quality that the sound has from doing something very simple. Right here. It's super squelchy. The thing is though, is that this is actually the reversed version of the sample. And like, that's actually all that happened. Like the regular sample is just the regular version of what I normally do. I guess I don't want to screw with, there we go. Like if you just listen to it, it was the recording of the sample. And if you're curious about how I actually made that sound, go watch the previous video in the series where I went and made it. But the simple act of reversing it suddenly made it way squelchier. And that's just because we're reversing basically the ramping of very sharp sounds. Because very sharp sounds tend to be saw types or square types. And the transients start from, sharpness, and then they kind of swerve downward. But now we're starting from down and swerving upward. And that gets us a very different timbre. And it's only from reversing it. So like any regular sound you make, experiment with like reversing it around and stuff like that. Because chances are you'll end up getting some quality out of it that you weren't expecting. It was quite an important thing to do in this track. So the very first thing that happens here is a very confusing drum part. And like sometimes I listen to it, I don't know what's happening, but then sometimes I remember what I did and then I could follow it. But most people I think have an issue following this. Just for kicks, let's try and put this back. I'll keep that other snare kind of off just because that could be cool. Of course, I also sort of timed the basses with it, so that's all sounding like different. Okay, I'm gonna put that back. Say my voice too quiet. It's possible. I will up the compression of it. There we go. I should make it a little bit better. So like the way I've been doing this is that like I've been kind of screwing around with the key, just sort of ignoring it and progressing in places that the song has never gone before. And I think I'm going to keep doing that. So this is... So this one is going to start up. I'm just gonna stay up. I'm not even gonna. Is this a regular one? No, I made it specifically for this. I'll cut it short. Put some bass hit in there. I forget what I did here, or why I did what I did. Why is there two of these? The majority of these, I've already like done various experimentation with like reversing it. I dig. But also, that was a word that I said just now. Yeah, let's actually come back down to F. I don't even remember what this automation clip is. This is what happens when it's been 2 weeks since I looked at a thing. What is this? This is a patcher, so they're all labeled. It's like number 1, number 2. This sounds like the main automator. I seem to be wrong. What are you? So I obviously made this out of this, which is why I put this here, so that I would know what it was made from, which is good that I did that. That's an odd choice. That's a dope sound. I don't think this is actually in a thing that's being sidechained. Oh, it is. Okay. But then I recorded it and reversed it. That's the other one I did. I'm not deadmau5. I can't make funny title names. Arbitrary song title. Madhouse was a song by Anthrax. Boy, that's obscure. Right here is a wonderful little look at just how much latency is involved in the sound that I'm making right now. Look at that massive hole right when the thing just starts. Oops, I have snap to zero crossing engaged. Don't want to do that. Oop. Where am I putting you? 41. Consistency. I love people asking me questions about how I did stuff that I did in this track when like I literally like documented every single step of doing this track. Everything that happened I did live. You can watch it. You can go back and look. It exists. I forget the part where I'm not in the right note. That's F. That's sort of where I went, isn't it? Yeah, I went back to F. This guy's an F sharp. No, he's not. Why does this sound lower than it is? Of course. That's not gonna help. here's a fun thing about slide notes. You could actually slide note chords, entire chords, while they're happening. And the way this works is that, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, the way this works is that if you put the slide note around the top note, it essentially slides the top, from the top, this topest note. So if I do it here. Or it doesn't work with ARPs because each note is triggering individually. So it doesn't have time for the slide note to actually articulate. Which is a bummer because I had a plan about what I was going to do with that, but now I can't do it. I don't want to do this with manual business. I can sort of show talking about this. So if I had like this chord, for example, I'm moving the whole chord up by this one note, but if I like bring it down here, it's moving it still as if it's the distance between this note and that note. This is the only note that matters in terms of the slide note articulation, I should say. So like if you're trying to slide something in relevant, like, you know, relative to something else, yeah, they're doing it relative to the top note. They already have a slide. Why do I get the feeling that none of this is actually going back down to F? If you haven't figured it out by now, this job is pretty much just me doing whatever the fuck I want. It's whatever I want. At all. Yeah, the groove is a little hard to find. I'm probably gonna have to refine that a little bit. I haven't thought about that. This has got to be way harder. Entirely new channel get. Bummer here being that I'm trying to side chain it and hit it at the same time, and it's causing it to sort of not be audible. Guess that kind of works. I guess I could go higher. Actually, I could probably just make the ARP higher and it wouldn't affect at all like the feeling of the notes are happening right now because you can't really discern notes with the weird basses that I'm doing. Actually, I want this to be a chord. And I was more or less right. But right here is where there will be some notes discerned. Get the G now, right? Yeah. This drop is so stupid. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that though. Just to kind of highlight how stupid this is right now, I'm going to play it from here. Ooh. Pretty dope. This, however. Awesome. Let's do something even stupider with this part. See, so B, F. This is probably gonna sound like absolute dog shit, but I'm doing it anyway. That sounded about what I thought it would sound like. That is to say, it's somewhat dumb. Damn underruns. I think I need a new sound. I need a new sound for this part. What kind of sound do I want to make? Let's do something like totally unreasonable. Like kind of like that FM research thing I did earlier, only from scratch, just because it can be fun. All right, so to do this, I'm gonna do a smart plan. And actually put it all in one patcher. Instead of doing what I did, which was get SAR. Doing what I did, which was have it. I used the actual mixer answers to do crazy like stacks and routing, and it was the most inefficient thing ever. So instead of doing that, I'm gonna actually use the patcher. Patcher. I want to show you guys a cool trick. I think I can actually utilize this in this context. Okay, so a while ago I mentioned how it would be cool if you had FM capabilities with Harmor to have additive FM. You can kind of fake it with Citrus because you can have the additive and then you can control different harmonics and it's all interesting. But the beauty of having additive FM and like something like Harmor is to be able to control FM depth for each individual harmonic, and you can kind of do that. It's just not pitch controlled. So the phaser normally phases. The phaser sort of mimics what a phaser will do, which is to cause phase cancellation inside the spectrum, which gives us this sort of holes in it, which is exemplified by the visualizer, and it's basically just a filter that does that. And you can mess with it and do cool things. But if you go into frequency mode, essentially whatever it applies to volume, it applies to pitch instead. So that's neat. And one day I accidentally did this. Which is not unlike FM. So let's try and utilize this in a way that makes sense. By using the phaser mask. Cool as that. Let's go back to we're not figure out anymore. Okay. There it is. Or we could do pulse mode. Let's actually try to make something useful out of this. Make the pulse, or not pulse, wave, and go back to the triangle side. Ain't that interesting? And if I were to distort that, sounds stupid. The only issue with this is that it's not pitch synced. It's just this, whatever this speed is. That's a little better. That's interesting, isn't it? Freaky. Yeah, but that was just a neat idea I wanted to explore. It's not that this by itself is probably going to be somewhat inaudible once I'm done doing what I'm about to do. So okay, once I have this, what do I want to do from here? Actually, one of my students gave me a cool idea, which was to use wave shapers to do parallel wave shaping, but to use bipolar mode to make it so that either path through the wave shape is a different polarity. So that means that one of these is positive polarity and the other one is negative polarity. So if you look at all right, this is totally not doing it right. Why is it doing it right? Because I did the opposite of what I was supposed to do. Or did I? This is right. Well, the point here is that we're supposed to be in asymmetrical mode. All right, make sure I got the right one of these. Anyway, the idea is that you have an asymmetrical mode like so, and I'm doing the opposite of what I want to do, aren't I? But it's still coming out. It's really not supposed to be doing this. So this is. I guess it's kind of doing it, but why isn't it doing it? I mean, I've done this. I have actually done this in a test. See, like this is like right now, this is not letting anything through. Okay. If I already do. Right. So then if I go asymmetrical mode, right now it's saying nothing is going through either of the polarities. And so it's positive and negative. Something I'm doing is not right at all. I need to test this with like a regular waveform, because I think just make sure I have my theory right. And like I could have sworn I've done this already. I guess I could have sort of wrong. Yeah, you go away for now. Okay. Here's a wave shaper. And here's a wave candy just so I can see what's up. Update. E. Saw wave, great. Very good. See, that's what's supposed to happen. Half the polarity is gone, half the polarity stays there. Oh, because it's being compressed. I'm an idiot. See, the reason why I just put a wave candy inside the patcher like that just now was because I wanted to see what the waveform looked like before it gets run through the maximuses and the sidechaining and everything that goes through the master. And that's actually what's happening with the other guy, is that I'm doing it right, but my visualizing is incorrect. Because I was looking at the main waveform visualizer, which is tied to post master. Yep, see, there it is. Half the polarity. I'll just keep that wave candy over here. And so to have, I got both of these guys. This is this guy, so I want this dude to be flat and this dude to go. Now I have both sides. And so now the idea is to apply different effects to different sides of the polarity. So like I could put in a chorus in here. Maybe a couple choruses. Let's have some weird interconnecting layering business. But to make this truly separate, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put a wave shaper at the end of the chain. That's the same effect as the path that it's on. Why I gotta. Turn you down while I'm working on you. And what would happen if I did independent? Ooh, that's a wonderful plan. Okay, so I'm gonna come in here and do some of this because I don't really like the stock chorusing. So, okay, anyway, my thought was, what if I did independent EQ mod on the parts of the, this should be interesting. So we're actually an F right now. Let's mine. So let's make a band pass, notch, another notch, band pass, and pass, notch, another notch, and activate. Automation clip. Activate. Automation clip. Activate. The reason why I put another wave shaper at the end of the path was because some of these effects would actually ensure, much like the compressor on the master, that the waveform would go outside of its polarity. So this keeps it stuck inside whatever polarity that we have going on here, and so it is not actually interacting with the other polarity until the end of the chain. Okay, so now these top three, they are I guess the positive polarity is the negative polarity or whatever. One polarity and the other polarity. I don't actually know which polarity is which. Doesn't particularly matter. This is weird. And then both of these will also require independent compression to bring back the frequencies that were just lost just now. Put it back in here. You're the one. Yeah, you're not important anymore. You can go away. This is already dope. I don't remember the name of the guy. He was one of my students, actually. Cameron, I think. He was discussing to me with this idea that he came up with. It was a pretty good idea. Like, I like it a lot. And I wonder if you could have stereo individual polarity. So I can have different stereo field for the negative and the positive polarity. How trippy is that? even weirder, I could delay parts of the polarity. Like that's weird. Is it delaying both? It really shouldn't be. This one is the massively delayed one. And this one isn't. But it's still delaying it. Why? View latency. Absolutely not be hearing any delay. This is where all the humongous delay is. It had 1 full second of delay, apparently. 44 1000 samples at 44.1K sample rate. Ah. But this is the one that I'm hearing. It's not letting me delay it. Why? So it's saying right there that I have audio. Like if I don't... Does it have like automatic delay compensation inside? Is there a way to get rid of that? Because I really don't want to do that. Link velocity, audio range modules, view, latency, about. Look at bigger. Remember tabs has this link velocity. Oh, these are just the same options. If I just click on here, weird. This has to be, there has to be some sort of automatic function for causing it to link delay like that, which is good in most cases. However, I'm trying to intentionally fuck this up and it's not letting me. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna have to talk to the devs about that. So I have kind of related bandpass motion. Here, let's try actually beating. That is a very interesting concept right there. But this is just the beginning. This doesn't actually link to anything. Keep that there. Kind of like a measurement. Didn't actually want to do that. And actually, just to make sure shit doesn't die, I'm going to save the project just now. Right. To be extra fun, let's make a whole bunch of notches. Whole bunch. Huge amount. Yeah, okay. And then kind of thin out the wavelength and also make them not the default size. Cool. Now that I've done that, let's automate them all. Okay. That's all these guys. There's oops. Rockin'. Stop it with the. I keep trying to move with like the middle wheel, but that's not how that works. Yeah. Bring back some compression. And then we'll do, stop it with the middle clicking. I'll do not one, but two. Actually, here, let's do, is that going to be more effective if I do that? I don't think so. Yeah, not one. It's a weird decision to do that. But 2 independent band passes. No. Band pass, I said. Band pass, there it is. So not that guy. Cool. Band pass. And not that guy. Bigger bandwidth, bigger bandwidth. Automate. Activate, automate, activate, automate. So that's these 2 guys. Get a little bit of that bass, I guess it's not really a DC offset, but it's where it kind of lingers. Actually, I think I wanted to distort this down here. I think we're almost done with this ridiculousness. Default. Just for fun, I want to try a specific kind of citrus pastures from here, just real quick. Citrus, baby back ribs. Let's mute you for a second and put you in here. Triangle. I layered the two? The crazy harmonic, crazy additive FM bass up here. Ooh, I can blend polarities. Oh, it's the best idea. Why didn't I think of that? So hold on. Instead of layering both at once, one will go in one polarity and the other will go in the other polarity. Oh, it's so ridiculous. That's getting kind of annoying though. Why does that happen? It happens because of the compressors, I think, honestly. Like, having done this a lot over the course of time, it adds up. Especially like this dude. Of course, we got that going in the highs and the mids too. And just a master. Let's see if that's better with the other polarity instead. It's pretty ridiculous. I'll have to talk to that dude, that student that came up with this, and just be like, dude, your idea was boss. Let's try some better notes. I don't think this would sound good as a Harmor resampled sound. Somebody suggested doing that. I don't really think it's a good plan. So we're about done with the first hour. I'm gonna take a short break. When we come back, I'll try to incorporate the sound of the drop somehow. That'll be a good time. So continue on the part 2 if you have not seen, if not, they're YouTubers.